Exploring abandoned buildings is already creepy, but what happens when things take a terrifying twist? In this video, we're diving into 6 eerie encounters caught on camera inside forgotten places. From unsettling noises to shadowy figures lurking in the dark, these moments will leave you on edge. If you think exploring abandoned buildings is spooky, wait until you see what these brave souls captured during their adventures. Let's jump into these spine-chilling encounters. A scary asylum visit. For the last decade, an urban explorer channel, The Proper People, led by friends Brian and Michael, has gained a loyal following for offering viewers authentic urban explorations, far from the cheap staged content that often plagues YouTube. Their 2016 visit to Old Bryce Hospital in Northport, Alabama, is one of their most chilling experiences. This psychiatric hospital was known for its harsh treatment of patients. Now it's abandoned, but still has drawn urban explorers despite its eerie reputation. As they arrive at the desolate grounds, Brian and Michael begin exploring the crumbling ruins. The building is in disrepair, with graffiti covering the walls and some sections entirely collapsed. The possibility of the structure caving in looms over them, but they press on, unaware of the real danger ahead. Just as they reach the top floor, a strange noise interrupts their exploration. "Wait, what was that?" Michael whispers. And then they see it. A figure holding a light, standing still on the opposite staircase. A tense moment passes as Brian and Michael realize they're not alone. Panicked, they decide to retreat. As they make their way back, the stranger's light disappears the moment they turn theirs off, as if they had been watched the whole time. In the footage, if you look closely, a light can be seen earlier outside the window. Was it the same person? Or had they been followed the entire time? Brian and Michael make it back to the car shaken, and the most bizarre thing was there were no other vehicles around, so whoever was there had to be on foot. And the unsettling question remains, what did they want? A haunted frozen house. Ghost Theory, a popular paranormal investigation channel, recently uploaded a chilling exploration video of an abandoned house that left viewers questioning reality. The video begins with the team visiting this abandoned house, and suddenly, they hear an unsettling sound that can only be described as otherworldly. The sheer volume and eerie nature of the noise immediately raise red flags, as nothing living could create such a noise. The team, visibly unnerved, discusses the strange sounds they've been encountering throughout the day. The unsettling atmosphere pushes them to leave cameras placed throughout the house overnight in hopes of catching something on film. It is clear to the team that something is not right in the house. They are determined to discover what is lurking inside. As they delve deeper into the house, the team notices something strange. The entire place feels like it's frozen in time. Everyday items are left as if someone had just walked out, never to return. The power is still running, despite no one paying the bill. The mystery is who or what is keeping this place in limbo. In the kitchen, the investigators find cups with sugar and coffee laid out as though someone had been moments away from making tea. They stumble across freshly washed clothes in the machine and drying dishes on the rack. Old family photos are scattered across the house. This isn't your typical abandoned house. Instead, it's as if life was paused suddenly, mid-action. Then, the eerie sound strikes again, louder and more intense than before. The team is visibly shaken as they try to rationalize what could be making such an inhuman noise. They knew they were alone in the house. No one had entered since their arrival. Yet the front door, which was left open earlier, was now inexplicably shut. No one had touched it. What caused this sudden abandonment? And what is responsible for the terrifying noises echoing through the halls? Many questions are still unanswered. A murder house. Adam Mark Explorer visits the creepiest and most mysterious places in the UK, but one location in particular stood out: a decaying mansion known as the Murder House. The legend surrounding it is as haunting as the place itself. Locals say a young girl named Sally was brutally murdered inside the house, and her body was buried in the nearby woods. The story has lingered in whispers for years. Adam Mark decided to visit the house himself to see if there was any truth behind the chilling tales. Armed with his camera, he began his exploration, skeptical of the supernatural rumors. As he wandered through the empty, decaying rooms, things took an unexpected turn. While climbing the staircase, he heard a sudden, unexplained bang from a room he had just left. Have you seen a blue ball sitting in the middle of the room? It was not here before. As if that wasn't enough to unsettle him, Adam then heard a note from the piano. He rushed to check. The house seemed eerily alive, playing tricks on him. What started as an ordinary exploration quickly turned into something much darker. By the time Adam left the house, he wasn't the same skeptic he'd been when he entered. The murder house had left its mark. Strange encounter in factory. Christopher Brian Hill, the man behind the YouTube channel Urbex Hill, has spent over 10 years diving into some of the creepiest abandoned buildings across the country. His urban explorations aren't just casual walks in the park, they're full of real danger. This time, Chris took on the abandoned Westinghouse Electric Factory in Cleveland, Ohio. Now this place has been standing for over a century, and while it was once a thriving industrial hub, it's now mostly in ruins. This place has become a hotspot for urban explorers, especially after part of the Avengers was filmed there. But Cleveland's reputation as one of the most dangerous cities in the US means this wasn't just another stroll. Minutes into his exploration, Chris hears gunshots in the distance, which immediately adds tension to the already eerie environment. And it doesn't stop there. Then, he witnesses some strange things, like an abandoned mattress and weird sounds. As he makes his way through the factory, he stumbles upon a man in the basement, someone who doesn't respond when Chris calls out to him. Chris, being the seasoned explorer he is, tries to offer him some help and even goes back to give him $20, but the guy has vanished. Then he hears some strange sounds, and it turns out there was another person down there. Could be a squatter, could be someone from the other world. Who knows? It's super unsettling, and Chris doesn't even realize their presence until much later. Then, Chris decides it's time to call it a night and get out of there, luckily unharmed. Since then, he hasn't uploaded another video from the Westinghouse factory, and you can't help but wonder if this encounter had something to do with it. A haunted farmhouse. Chris, an urban explorer, takes us deep into an abandoned farmhouse somewhere in the UK. At first glance, this place looks like it's been untouched for years. Dust-covered furniture, cobwebs hanging from the ceiling, and even a few dead animals scattered around. As you follow along, Chris enters through an open window, revealing a home frozen in time, with worn-out shoes and shotgun shells on a bedside table. But something's off. As he explores further, Chris notices a few strange signs. A relatively new light bulb in the bedroom, and clothes that don't seem too old. Then, just when you think this is another typical urban exploration, everything changes. Chris steps into an upstairs bedroom, and suddenly, the tension snaps. there's someone in the bed. The elderly woman startles both Chris and Meg. She's been living there alone for nearly 30 years. Her name is Jane, and while she claims to be fine, it's clear her situation is much more complex than it seems. The video ends with more questions than answers, leaving viewers wondering about Jane's true story. What's more unsettling is that Chris's research suggests Jane may not be as isolated as she claims. A figure in the abandoned school. Chris Hill, from the YouTube channel Urbex Hill Again, took on the daring challenge of exploring Robert Fulton Elementary, a seriously creepy school building in Cleveland that has been abandoned for over 13 years. He made a chilling first visit in 2022 when he heard strange noises like humming and banging. Most people would never set foot in that place again, but Chris isn't most people. He returned for a second round in 2023, this time alone at 1 a.m. As he ventured deeper into the decaying structure, things quickly escalated. The school was in terrible condition, peeling walls, debris everywhere, and unstable floors. Chris heard unsettling noises again, but this time, a loud bang echoed through the school. It became clear that Chris wasn't alone. Despite that, he did not stop. Then he found more disturbing signs. A message on the chalkboard warning, "Don't explore alone," and a "Keep out" sign on a door. Ignoring these warnings, Chris continued his exploration. Moments later, a chilling scream pierced the silence, and Chris, sensing real danger, bolted from the building. It is likely that the figure was a squatter living there, and from their perspective, the unexpected presence of Chris could have been just as frightening. Luckily, Chris escaped unharmed, but the encounter was a stark reminder of how quickly situations in abandoned places can take a terrifying turn. So, this is all for today's video. If you want to hear more about such chilling encounters, hit the bell icon and explore this channel for a lot more goosebumps.